Some of you think you're failing because nothing is happening right now. But the truth is, in this moment, this is where your future is being built. This test, this challenge, this reset, whatever you want to call it, it's happening for you right now. It's here to help you build, to find more of yourself. It serves a higher purpose. So much more than you think it does. I know it can feel like you're just in stagnancy, or you're going nowhere, or you're stuck. But the future is being built right now. There's something you need to learn right here. Take it from somebody who resisted and fought and did not want to be in that phase and did not want to get spiritually tested, because it's exhausting, it's tiring. Sometimes this phase, this test can last for years, but you're learning something, you're growing, and this is where the version of you who's ready for more is being created. And if you can hold on, if you can stop resisting, and it's easier said than done, you're going to find out that there's something that the universe, that your spirit is creating in the background. I've been in this phase more than I can count. I've gone through these tests more than I can count. And every time I would get to that point of frustration and anger, and I didn't understand why I had to keep going through this, there would always be something that gets shown to me sooner or later. Recently for me, it's been my health. I've been pushing it off, and I'll work on it for a little bit, and then I'll stop, and it's been affecting every area of my life. Maybe there's something that just keeps gnawing at you, that you keep avoiding or just not taking responsibility for. That is what needs your focus right now. Because once you address that and resolve that, that's when things are going to start to change. And I got my notes over here. Just because it's not working doesn't mean nothing's happening. Something is always happening, right? We're always going forward one way or another. Even if it feels, again, you feel like your life is stagnant right now. What is this illness trying to teach you? What is this stage trying to teach you? What requires your attention right now? These are the kind of questions that you need to be asking. Again, having adrenal fatigue, having thyroid issues has affected every area of my life. Even right now, my eyes are heavy. And here we are, right? Oftentimes, when you feel like you're stuck, when you feel like, again, nothing is happening, there's something deeper that's more important that needs to get addressed. For me, I would always put business first. I would always think there's nothing more important than work. There's nothing more important than advancing in that work. There's nothing more important than the higher purpose. But you know what is? That I've realized is taking care of yourself. And that's what I neglected. So now, I'm in a similar phase, or I'm getting tested in my own way right now with my health, with my thyroid, with having to fully address and commit to healing this. There's something that requires your attention desperately. Can you give it what you need? Can you give yourself what you need? Not give it, but can you give yourself what you need right now, so you can start to get that momentum back that you're looking for. There will be times when everything feels quiet. There's no wins, there's no momentum, there's no signs of progress. There's always moments like that. I remember when I left the personal training studio. I used to be a personal trainer. I had a studio. I had a business partner. I was working my way to be his business partner. And after it came crashing down, for 2 weeks, I lost it. I had no momentum. I had no wins. There was no progress. I gave up. I thought I had no future. But in those 2 weeks, I was being recalibrated. There was emotions that had to be processed to move on. Excuse me. There was so much that I suppressed for the year and a half that I was at that studio, because of the back and forth with again, my soon-to-be business partner, and it was so much, and I needed that time to really go into it. And even though it felt like I failed, like I had no momentum, there was no progress, there was energetic progress that was being made in the unseen world, right? Now, I'm not super woo-woo, but I will say that when you have traumatic experiences, when you have limiting beliefs about yourself, and those don't get addressed, they're gonna come back in your darkest moments. So, but as you address them, as you go into them, that is the progress. Maybe right now there's some healing work to do, there's some inner work to do. And if you hadn't slowed down, if things hadn't come crashing down, I wouldn't have been able to dedicate the time that was needed to go into them. So it's not that nothing is happening, it's just there's higher priorities right now. Even if you don't feel like it's a higher priority, there's a higher priority for you to look at right now, so then you can start moving forward and with your purpose, with your business, whatever it is you want to do. But you got to address what's here now. We can't keep wishing. We can't keep wishing for things just to heal on its own or go away on its own. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately, right? And that doesn't mean that when you're getting tested, it doesn't mean that you're not growing. It means you're being recalibrated, like I said, right? Behind every breakthrough is a period of silence where most people quit. You think that it's not for you. You think that you're not qualified, you're not enough, because it's silent. You're giving it your all and you still failed. You keep going back to it and you keep trying and trying, and it seems like you never get that needle to move forward. I get it. But what I always remind myself in these times and these tests is that I hope you don't forget this, buddy. Is that this is the process. What you're going through, this is the process. Change happens through process, through failure after failure, through action after action. This is what it is. And nobody really prepares you, or no matter how much you're told that, yeah, it's going to be a hard climb. You can never really know what's coming when you go down this healing road or even this entrepreneurial road until you're actually walking it. And you think there's something wrong with you because you haven't gotten there yet. But there's not. This is the process. I've been reading this book by Ryan Holiday called The Right Thing Right Now. And he gives all these examples of people in history. Martin Luther King, this guy named John Doe, that created change, like real change in the world. And for some of these people, it took 20 years. For John Doe, he was a senator in the United States, and he gave over 3,000 speeches to the Senate talking about genocide and how that has to, it has to be a law and we can't accept this. And it was on this 3,211th speech that they finally passed a bill. 3,200. They finally listened. And he kept going when nobody would listen, when it almost seemed effortless to give every speech. That's what it takes. And there's other lawyers that have filed hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits and new motions, and just a relentlessness that they've had. They just kept going. They kept going back to that one thing, right? So even right now, if you feel like you're helpless, if you feel like you don't understand why you keep getting put in these situations, or you keep putting yourself in these situations, you got to keep going back. You got to keep going back to what this test is trying to take you towards. And then once you take care of yourself, again, go back to the purpose. because those examples I just gave can go for both, right? I've been on this journey for 5 years, over 5 years, and I'm not where I want to be yet, but I just keep going back. I keep creating these videos one way or another. You got to keep going back to your thing, to what you love to do, to what lights you up in a sense. And it sounds so cliche, but that higher purpose, even again when you're being tested right now and it's preparing you to go deeper into your higher purpose, you always want to go back to it, right? You can't just let these silence periods take all your dedication and your desire to make a dream come true. There's something here that's going to help you grow. Also, feeling stuck means that your mind is clearing space for new solutions. You know how many times I've heard clients letting go of people and new things coming into their life that within a couple of hours. I had a session the other day with a client, and she said how she cut off these toxic people and she energetically removed that. And within a couple hours, she had these sales coming in for her new perfume. She reconnected with old friends that really would support her. And that's how fast things move. That's how fast things move, because when you have all this crap that's getting in the way of you trying to build a new foundation, it's gonna get messy. And you have to clear. You have to make room. You don't want all this old dust, all this old stuff getting in the way for what you're trying to build. How are you going to get that upgrade when you have all these things from your past self getting in the way? There's something here right now for you to clear as well. You're not failing. Maybe you're just fatigued. Maybe you're just tired, but it all serves a purpose. I need you to find what that purpose is. What do you need to address? And right now, just to give you a little update, guys, these are actually, the title of this video is a part 2 of a series. And the title of this video is what this spiritual test is really trying to teach you. Just so you know, I should have said that in the beginning, but that's what this video is all about. And I'm giving you a couple things here, right? Again, just share number 2. And stuck is not failure. It's a signal that your old way of thinking doesn't work anymore. Change. That's what you're being asked to do right now. That's what your spirit is causing to happen right now. You can't keep doing things the way you've been doing them, especially if they're not working. Again, for my health, I used to fast for years until within the last couple of days, I finally started eating something before I would go work out. And it made a world of a difference. But I resisted that for so long. I didn't want to change because I was so the programming, and you'll find what you're looking for, right? There's so many benefits to fasting. I used to be a trainer. I really believed in this stuff. But you have to listen to your body. And it was horrible. Fasting was horrible for my adrenal glands. It was horrible for my central nervous system, for the state that my body is in right now, for the thyroid. And I had to make a change. I had to be honest with myself and ask myself how much longer I was going to let this continue, because it's already been over 5 years. How long have you let your stuff continue for? You know, you change when you're ready, but I don't know, maybe it does have to be that painful. Maybe it does. You do have to get to that point of exhaustion where you've tried the same thing year after year and it clearly doesn't work, but you keep going back to it because that's what you know. That's what, for me, it was brought me back into survival mode. A lot of my life has been survival mode, and I would choose stimulants over actual food for energy. And I realized it's because the stimulants gave me a quick fake high and a quick burst of energy within 5-10 minutes, compared to the food that took a little bit longer. It was a little slower acting, but I couldn't do that anymore. There's something that you can't do anymore that clearly isn't working. What is it? Get to the bottom of it. Talk to yourself. Why are you allowing yourself to live this way? You can't live a half life, right? I can't do what I want to do being in that state of always tired, of always, having a limited capacity to what I can hold. There's something that's limiting your capacity. Again, it's all a reflection. It's something that is limiting your capacity to what you can hold in your life, to how much you can expand and grow. I want you to expand that capacity. But the only way that's going to happen is if you make the changes necessary. If you're willing to have an open mind. If you're willing to soften your heart towards yourself. And most importantly, if you have the will to change. If you can do those 3 things, it's going to make these tests a lot easier. Right? Number 3. Or actually, hold on, not yet. Being stuck is your chance to reset, right? Use this time wisely. You can rest. You can prioritize yourself for once in your life, right? Use this time to reset if you need to. It's okay. You're not falling behind. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is where real transformation begins. It really is. When I was 22, I lost myself. I had no idea where I was going. I felt like such a loser. But in that pain, in those uncomfortable emotions, that became my launch pad to want to grow, to want to be better. And little did I know, that took me on a whole journey of personal development, of a spiritual journey, of a spiritual awakening. At 22, I'm 32 now, and I just knew it was time. And you go through different transformations like that, right? Life transformations, and maybe if this video is catching you at the right time, maybe you know it's time now. And you just need that confirmation that you don't have to live like that anymore. That you are capable of changing. You're not a slave to your body. You're not a slave to your emotions. Maybe these parts of you that are keeping you doing the same patterns, the same habits, keeping you stuck, trying to protect you. They're trying to protect you from being hurt again. But those parts don't realize how damaging they really are. And what they're doing, you have to, it might sound crazy, you got to talk to those parts. I don't know if you ever heard of IFS, internal family systems, but you want to talk to that part of you that's holding you back and ask it why and understand it and then appreciate it, because it's been trying to protect you, but you got to let it know it doesn't need your protection anymore in so many ways. Right? I'll end this with the final line, the power line that's called, being stuck isn't the end. It's a space where the next level is being born. It's not over. It's just beginning. Point number 3, this phase is designed to break your old mindset, not your drive. Right? It's not here to break you. It's here to change you, here to mold you. It's here to mold you. It's here to help you see who you actually are. It's here to help you decide who you want to become and to accept who you want to become, but knowing that it came from your choices, right? You hear all these stories I was watching, it's called Nine Strangers, something, a show yesterday about these people that go to a spiritual retreat. It's on Hulu. And this prodigy prodigy pianist. She was known, she was famous, right, in the show, and she worked with like this medicine at the retreat, and I think they were trying to replicate ayahuasca. But she realized that she didn't even want to be a pianist. I think that's how you say it. She didn't even want to play the piano. She didn't even want to be a prodigy child, but her parents forced that on her. That's the purpose she had to walk. And she hated herself for it. She didn't even get to decide. She didn't even get to decide who she wanted to be. And sometimes that happens, right? There's all these influences from our parents, from authority figures, and they choose for you who you want to be. Now, parents tried for me. They wanted me to go to college, be a good boy, get my degree, be, even be a doctor, be whatever they wanted me to be, and I couldn't do that. Like, it's in my blood. It's in my heart to be an entrepreneur, and I had to find my way. And it touched me watching that scene in that show, because she was expressing to her partner how it's like, did it ever occur to you that I didn't want to play the piano? That I didn't want to be a prodigy child? She shared what she actually wanted to do. And it's heartbreaking, right? Because there's so many real life circumstances where that happens. But you got to choose who you are. And in these tests, you really have a chance. You have a chance to analyze your life, analyze your friends, the people around you, your purpose. You have a chance. So what are you going to do with it? Right? Number 4, trust your process more than you need to control your outcome. That's another thing. We try to control so much. We're not that smart. I'm sorry, but we're not that. I know it's good to have a plan. It's good to have a way forward. But there's always going to be interruptions, right? Missteps, which are actually going to lead you to what you're really meant to do. And these challenges and these things that get put in your path, we think they're setbacks. We think that it's a sign from the universe that we're not meant to do X, Y, or Z, that we can't have what we want. It's not meant for us. But you have to trust your process. You always connect the dots in retrospect. Every time you look back, you will see how everything as a collective makes sense as to why you went through that, why you lost that person, why that business had to go. It always makes sense in retrospect. The same thing can be said for what you're going through now. It's okay if it takes a year, 2, 3, 4, 10 years down the line to figure that out. But I'm telling you, you can't grow. You cannot grow without challenges, without struggles. That's where the strength comes from. You're being built. You're becoming. This is why I call this the Becoming series, because that's what's going on. And I know it's hard to trust in moments where your back's against the wall and you see no way out, and you're wondering, God, Spirit, Universe, where are you? I need you. But there's a reason why there's silence. Because it's time for you to step up. It's time for you to take responsibility for your life, for your finances, whatever it may be. You are the help. Don't ask for an angel. Change the angle of how you're looking at things. Try a new approach. See what else you can do. Find a new perspective. That's how you're going to get out of this. It's not even about getting out of this, but about just extracting the lesson, the growth, the spiritual growth. That's what it's about. You can do this. You can trust yourself. You can support yourself. You can believe in yourself in these times. It may be even things that you wish you had from your parents. You need to give all those things to you right now. My girlfriend asked me a question the other day. I was going through a process, and my inner child was I was doing some inner child work, and she asked me, Roy, what's the biggest thing you wish your mom would have told you as a kid? And it was a powerful moment. I wasn't expecting that. It threw me off a little bit. And I thought about it, and I told her, well, it's two things. I support you with anything you do, and I believe in you. And she said, all right, now can you give those two things to yourself? Got emotional. I sat with it. I felt that. And I did. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. You asked that question. What do you wish you would have had from your parents, from your mom, from your dad? See what comes through. And then give it to yourself. Because I know a lot of us, we wish we would have got more. We wish there's a lot of things. We wish we didn't have a lot of things missing in our childhood. But it is what it is. Our parents did our best, and now it's on us, right? Now it's on us. But when things slow down, let's get back on track. When things slow down, most people panic and try to force results. I need you to start choosing flow over force. This is, oh my gosh, this has been one of the truest statements I've heard over the last couple of years, because especially with me not addressing these health issues, I've been trying to force a successful business. I've been trying to force my way to feeling like I'm enough, to forcing things to happen, to manifest. It doesn't work like that. And by forcing, you get exhausted, you get tired, you go into survival mode. But when you flow, when your physical vessel is in a good state, it's a lot easier to flow too. But when you're in flow, it's almost effortless. You still got to do the work, you still got to show up, but it's easier. It doesn't feel like, again, you're trying to cram a freaking square in a round hole, right? And that's what I've been trying to do. And maybe, again, if you're watching this, probably relate. How can you make things flow better? What needs your attention to make your life come back into this flow, this life current, instead of trying to force and use your masculine power to create something? Because that's what got you here in the first place as well. You try to force something into being. But when you slow down, even that's entering the flow, right? So when you try to control everything, it only creates stress and blocks. It only creates stress and blocks momentum. Yep, I've lived that, right? Trusting the process means staying disciplined when you don't see proof yet. Can you do that? Can you have faith that you're great? Can you have faith that you have something to give to this world, that you can still live out that dream, even if the physical proof isn't there? Can you keep going back to that purpose, that calling, even though you get tested 1,000 times, 2,000 times, even if it takes 10 years? Can you trust the process? Again, easier said than done, but that's what it is. Like, and discipline is just really showing up, being consistent, persistence, right? There's so many stories in history of people just continuing, and they just don't stop. They never will until they die. And even then, they pass the baton on to somebody else to continue that purpose. And it just keeps building and building and building. Can you do that? Right? Even when you feel down, when you feel like things are not happening. Control is fear. Discipline is trust. And trust always wins long term. Hope you remember that. Now, the last and fifth final thing I have to share for this video is, if it's falling apart, it's not meant for where you're going. It's just not. Every single time. Let it go. Don't force it to stay where it's at. Don't force a relationship. Don't try to control it. Again, if control is fear. If somebody doesn't want to be in your life, if something is trying to leave out of your life, there's a reason. There's always a reason. And it could be a job, a relationship, a mindset, an identity that's crumbling. You can't take that with you to where you're going, to the next level, your next stage. It's got to go. Can you trust yourself enough to begin letting this go? There's something better coming. All right, bro, there's something better coming. I used to believe that everything I loved got taken away. And even alcohol, that's how crazy, like that's how delusional we can be sometimes. Why do I have to stop drinking alcohol? And this happened after I got this adrenal issues, which did not help and probably contributed to the adrenal issues. It's just such a victim mentality, right? At one point I had such a victim mentality, and I believed that. What I love, I had to stop taking pre-workouts. Why does everything I love has to have to be taken away? But it was all to help me. It was all to better myself. The pre-workouts were destroying my adrenal glands. The alcohol was destroying my adrenal glands. Everything I thought was getting stripped was actually things that needed to go so I can rebuild, so I can heal myself, so I can grow every single time, even with opportunities or people. It was time for it to go. And sometimes we resist and we hold on because whatever reason. But it's a gift. And if it's time for that thing or that person to leave, find all the good in it. Find all the good that it brought you while it was there. And let it go with love. And appreciate it. And value all the growth that came with that moment in time. But you don't have to hold on to that. Right? You just let it fall. Let it fall. You don't need old energy to create a new life. And you can't climb while clinging on to who you used to be. If I was still clinging on to who I used to be, I'd have some pills here. I'd have a bottle over here. I'd be going out partying. I can't even fathom that now. Right? Maybe there's habits, there's patterns that you have from who you used to be that, again, as they try to cling on, but as you grow, you will outgrow all that. But there's no room for that here. You're trying to reach your full potential. You're trying to be great. You're really trying to see what you can do in this world. The old you isn't going to help you. You can learn from it, right? And you can extract value in that way. But continuing the patterns, doing the same thing that didn't work for you in the past and that will keep you stagnant and that will hold you down where you're at right now, that will keep you stuck, it's not helping you. It's holding you back. It's holding you back. Just to close this video, if you made it this long, thank you. I really hope you got some value in it. It made you think more than anything about who you want to be, about your life, and it helped you take responsibility for your life as well. You're not losing your life. You're outgrowing your old one. In a nutshell, in one sentence, that's what's going on. You're not losing your life. You are outgrowing your old one. This moment, it's not where you give up. It's where you get honest. You get real honest with yourself, with who you've become, whether you like it or not, and who you want to become. You got to call yourself out. You got to face yourself. Because if you don't, you just continue the loop, the suffering loop, and create your own suffering every day. I needed to get clear on who you want to become and trust that this pause is shaping that version of you. It is. But you got the pen. You decide, what are you going to write? What is this going to shape right now? Are you going to feed into those limiting beliefs? Are you going to feed into the negative perception about who you are? Or are you going to to find the greater version of you. That's strong, that's resilient, that's powerful, that doesn't give up, that refuses to accept a mediocre life. What are you going to write with that pen? What are you going to hold yourself accountable and responsible for? It's you, bro. It's all you. You hold that power. You can drop the pen and give it to somebody else, and they'll write it for you. You can hold on to that pen and start writing the new chapters of your life. If this hit, guys, go ahead and check out the part one of the series. It's called Feeling Lost Lately, 5 Signs That You're Growing Spiritually. I'll drop it in the description. I really hope this helped. If you haven't checked out my course, check out Courage Unleashed. I'll leave it down below in the description as well. That'll really help you get to the next level and to confront yourself and have the courage to actually go after what you want and no longer play small. Check out the course. There's a lot more information down below. If you want to work one-on-one with me, I'll drop the link in the description as well. You can go deeper into anything that you're going through. I can really help you get past all this stuff that's getting in the way, that's helping you not see your true self, that's keeping you where you're at. Just one session. One session will give you so much momentum. It will change the trajectory of your life. I guarantee you that. All right? Until next time, don't forget to hit that like button, follow, or subscribe. Drop a comment. Let me know. Did this video help? What did you learn? Right? I'm trying to build a community here. Engage. Share this video with somebody you feel could help. I'll see you next time.